Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness? Technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
It's helped with the swelling and the pain. The tingling feeling is gone.
Call right now and order your very own Legzercise Pro, the clinically proven promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here with us on Fox Weather at the bottom of the hour. I'm Ian Oliver. This is Fox Weather Now. And right now, we're not taking our eye off the Western Caribbean. That's where we expect to see the beginnings of what will likely become our next tropical depression or named storm. This is the zone that we're watching for the time being. There's nothing there, and there won't be there as we move forward through most of the weekend, most likely, and into the early part of next week. That's when things will start to get interesting. The National Hurricane Center has bumped up those development chances earlier this afternoon. That was at 2 p.m. Eastern time, from 40% up to 50%. That's a 7-day development chance. So as we're getting closer to when we think this would actually happen, of course, the confidence level starts rising, and we'll see that number continue to increase. So let's get a closer look at this, what we're expecting to change in the short term and what we're not. This is the overall setup. You see it in the water vapor. Big trough, an upper level trough across much of the Gulf. That's what caused the front. If you've been with us, Jane showed us how the front associated with that swept all the way through Florida and kicked up some of those thunderstorms, many of which are offshore now. That's unusual for this point in September, but it's happening. That trough lifts out as we move through the weekend, and this area of high pressure starts to nudge into the east, and that starts things moving kind of slow for a stretch into the early part of next week. Now, what you don't notice is any signs of a circulation yet. First, we think it's going to be this big, broad one, the Central American gyre that forms something like this. So you get rising air, big swirl of low pressure over Central America, lots of atmospheric moisture moving in from the trade winds over the Caribbean. And as that happens, you can get a little piece of that area of spin. We're thinking it'll likely happen somewhere in here that breaks off that broader circulation and can start to develop tropical characteristics, some structure, and become a depression, a storm, or stronger. There is no sign of that yet, and there won't be through the weekend, as I was mentioning. So don't think that as we move through the weekend, if nothing is there yet, that means nothing's going to happen. That is not the case at all. This is really more of a next week thing, and all the way into next weekend. So you're going to be hearing about this for a while. Do think any impacts from this would be right at the end of next week and into next weekend. This is the GFS, so the afternoon run here, the old morning run, fairly close to it. The GFS has been fairly adamant with a stronger solution that gains some latitude, that moves off to the north more quickly, and it would make sense if it forms on that part of the gyre, something like that. You've got the Canadian model, the Euro, that was the morning run here. This is the afternoon one. And then you've got the AI model, which has done excellent so far this year, but that's not a predictor of what it's going to do or its performance with this particular storm. So into the middle of next week, there's the area of high pressure that holds this activity farther south, early part of next week. That slides east, and there's another trough that moves in. That's what would scoop up whatever this is at that point, the middle of next week, and pull it off to the north. But the position of where exactly this is at that point means everything for how strong it could become, how quickly it moves towards shore, and what portion of the Gulf Coast this moves towards. So that's what will be decided into the middle of next week. And unfortunately, at this point, there isn't much consensus